How's everyone doing today? Welcome back to The Deal. I'm your host, Tia Gordon. I'm the playlist manager here at BeatStars. You know the script. I'm just going to read through it, If you're just joining us, welcome. If you're back, welcome back. This show is about highlighting the community that have signed to BeatStars. And, if you don't know, we have our publishing arm now through Sony ATV, who are the #1 global music publisher in the world. For more information, you can check out beatstars.com/publishing. If you're interested in us representing you, there's an application you can also fill out. We have an Instagram account. You need to be following that at BeatStars Publishing. You can get better acquainted with our roster and get some free game on what publishing is, some tips. You get to learn about how our clients break down their day, all of that. So that's one thing. And then before we jump into anything else, you guys should know the BeatStars Awards. The voting is up and ready. The nominees for all categories have been announced, and voting is now open until December 25th at 11:59 PST. You can show support for some of your favorite and best BeatStars finalists by casting your vote on www.beatstars.awards.com. And don't forget to save the date for our live awards show on January 10th. That's going to be a lot of fun. This is the first time we're doing it. I know some of y'all in the chat are nominated, and I'm really proud of you guys for being as active as you've been, especially throughout this year. So please make sure that you're showing some support to your community members and get voting. It's very important. It's very special. Also, Duet Beats, you can submit your hottest beats for a chance to be featured on our official Duet Beats account, the #1 place to find viral sounds for TikTok. Get your own post and be added to the official Duet Beats playlist. It's a reminder, the beats must be free for download. Okay, that's the only catch. It's got to be free for download. So you can find this and all other opportunities at www.beatstars.com/opportunities, where you can also find your playlisting opportunities. But now, without further ado, we're going to bring in our special guest for today. It's only going to be two of us, so it's going to be a free-flowing conversation. Wonderboy Beats,
what's going on?
Hello. How are you doing today, kind sir?
I'm doing really well. How about you?
Not bad. It's a Tuesday. The sun is out. I can't really complain. But we're so lucky to have you on our team. If you guys wouldn't know this, but Wonderboy jumped in last minute for us today. So it's super special. And I don't know. I'm grateful that you're here, because without you, we wouldn't have been able to do the show.
Absolutely. Well, I'm tuning in from Atlanta, Georgia. We're out here.
That's my favorite place in the world. I love Atlanta so much.
Wait, really? That's crazy. This is my first time ever actually being in Atlanta. I'm here with Neela World, which is my homeboy Kalara's collective of producers and stuff. They have some pretty cool.
Uh-oh, we're frozen.
It worked?
Okay, I can hear you now. You got some pretty cool what? Okay, I lied. I can't hear you now. I was capping. All right, hold on one sec. I just want you to unfreeze. All right, there you go. You got some cool what?
Sorry, no, but Neela World, they have some pretty cool placements.
Uh-oh. This is going to be an interesting one.
Is there a little connectivity?
Yeah. Do you want to try joining from your phone? I know that was a little bit more clear.
Yeah, that'll probably be better.
All right, you do that, and let me see what's going on in these comments in the meantime.
All right, perfect.
There's the link for the TikTok Duet Beats that you guys can join. Someone else who says tis. I was just being dramatic. Manuel Beast just finished your online class. Good for you. Stay educated. Who's over here talking about some plump lips? You need to. Who are you guys going to be voting for the BeatStars Awards? It's pretty close call for a lot of these categories, because everybody's been working so hard. I'm not gonna say who I'm voting for because that would be crazy. But all right, let's go. Back there we go.
Right. Hopefully this works a little bit better.
Yeah, you're more clear. I love this for us. So, as you were saying, you're in Atlanta with your homies from your boys collective.
Okay, so yeah, so they have some pretty cool placements that just came out. They have 3 on the new Future and Uzi, which is really exciting. They also have a couple of new NBA Youngboy placements as well. The one with Rich the Kid and NBA Youngboy, 2 on there with Kalari, and then along with another one from Kalari, which is on the, it was like the project that just got released, like out of nowhere that Youngboy just dropped. But yeah, he has 3. I'm on that one too. But yeah, so I'm out there with them cooking up and everything. So
Yeah, it sounds like you're in good company, which is super important for the workflow for sure. You gotta, I don't know what Atlanta's saying as far as COVID, but you gotta check this breakfast spot called Gaucher's. It's on the east side.
Gaucher's?
Gaucher's, yeah.
We're just at a place, because I'm vegan, so I really am trying to be selective of where I eat. So I'm trying to be careful. But we just went to, like, it was like a biscuit spot. I don't even know. It was a breakfast spot downtown. It was really cool though. It was like Flying Biscuits or something like that. But I'll definitely check that out.
I just sent a message to my best friend to ask for the vegan spot that they took us to when my best friends live there, so that's why I'm just like obsessed with it. But that's fire.
Okay.
So are you working while you're out there? You're just cooking up? Like, what's the plan for Atlanta?
So basically what we've been doing is we've been getting an Airbnb in different places. We were just in LA, and now we're doing this in Atlanta, where we all come together and we just cook up and then go to different studios, link up with different people. It's just a whole creative process. And then in the meantime, like, people are playing video games or we're just chilling, doing whatever. But it's really just a whole group process, which everybody gets together. There's a bunch of loop makers, a bunch of drum people that all come together and just create. So it's a really nice environment.
I love that. I know that some people do that from time to time, but you guys are kind of like touring in the process.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
You want to call it. I love how many of you are in there?
I believe it's going to be 9 to 10. So
crazy. That's crazy. I love that for you guys. That's where all the best music is made, when you're in like a creative space and everyone's just in the zone that way. But we've been talking so much, we didn't really introduce you. Where are you from? And I want to know how you got started in music. Like, what was the first thing that set you on your path?
So I'm from Carrollton, Texas, and I started producing music in 2016, and then I started really taking it serious in 2018. But honestly, like, it's been a really long journey to even get to where I'm at. But I appreciate the process of it, because it teaches you a lot about what you have to do before you even get your hands on, like, even a substantial amount of money, or even having your first placement or this and that. Like, especially learning the business side of things was definitely an important process for me.
We'll talk about learning the business and what kind of steps you took to do that. I think that's probably the most important part of the music game, outside of actually being able to create and make things sound good.
Absolutely.
But before we get into that, I want to know, like, what's your earliest memory of music? Like, who was your first favorite artist that you were like, man, I want to make music that feels like this or sounds like this?
It's actually kind of funny. I was really small, but I actually liked Lil Wayne a lot, Eminem. That was like even before middle school, which is crazy to think about, because like even just my dad, he really introduced me to a lot of different types of music, like even like James Brown, or there's a bunch of different people, like the Billy Cobham Band. There's like just all different types of genres. Like, that's really like my background in music, is from just listening to all this different type of creative art that like people have made all over the world. And honestly, like, it just inspired me to create myself. So I was actually in the band in middle school, which I played percussion, funny enough. But other than that, I don't have like a super musical background, but I was just like, always in love with music in general and the process of it.
That's so interesting. I feel like in my experience, I was always listening to a whole bunch of other stuff too growing up, but Lil Wayne was like my first venture into like really enjoying and loving hip hop music. So that's pretty dope. What project got you with Wayne?
I think it was probably the Carter 3. That's probably when I started really listening. And then just from on there, like, I really like I I remember as a kid, I really liked Fireman. I don't know why, but like, you know, when MTV used to display actual music videos,
Yeah.
like that's what I used to watch. Was I'd just be in the living room, like, I don't know, like I'd be dancing around doing different things, like just listening to music. And then even like, I'm actually my parents, well, my dad really is from Sweden, so even while I was in Sweden too, a couple of times as a child, like my cousin and I would just watch MTV, like drink green tea. Like there's a special jasmine green tea we'd always drink, and then along with that, we just watch MTV like all day. But because we
It
didn't
sounds
have internet out where we were too, so like that's basically what we did, is just watch TV.
Yeah, that sounds super nostalgic, and maybe like the internet wasn't a huge tool at the time for like really discovering music. I know as far as my experience, like I live in Canada, right? So we didn't have MTV. We had Much Music, which would host a lot of Canadian music. So
Gotcha.
we really had to dig to find the hip hop stuff. But that's fire, and I love that you're so well versed in terms of sounds. How long have you been a part of the BeatStars community?
So I actually really started a few months ago. I think I started in late April, and yeah, I joined with y'all in late April, and then I created an account at pretty much because if not everybody knows Danny, he introduced me to the whole BeatStars process along with Kalari, which they all introduced me to BeatStars and then the whole process of it. And finally, I signed with BeatStars, which was a great opportunity for myself, and I'm very appreciative to be on the team, and I'm here to win it.
Period. Yeah, you got for somebody who's not really been on the platform that long or been interacting with the community that long, you have some pretty substantial numbers as far as your plays go. So that's pretty fire for you. And I would love to know, I guess, two things. I guess we could start with why you signed with BeatStars, and then I want to know some of your tips and tricks for starting and getting recognition on the platform. But start there before we get into actual like business tips. Cool.
Okay, well, I'd say that for BeatStars, the decision was made based on the fact that I wanted to own my publishing, and I also wanted to be able to have creative freedom, because I had a couple different opportunities lined up to where I could have signed away my publishing or this and that and the other, but instead I got introduced to BeatStars, which they have a really actually one of the most standard deals possible, which I had to go for it most definitely, because when you take in an admin deal, you own all your publishing, you keep your creative process. Because like even with me, I was playing with the fact of even getting a manager too, but I see even for myself that managing myself will probably be best for me, and it just helps me like keep my creative freedom and doing exactly what I want to do. And in the process, like you get to actually keep a substantial amount of money just by doing the work yourself.
Exactly. And it's interesting you say that you thought about getting a manager, but you determined that you could be self-managed. What really made you make that decision to be like, I could do this on my own?
Well, like it was almost like I had to have it click in my head, like, okay, look, like I'm really just paying another person to do the music business portion of everything for me. In general, I thought maybe it'd be better for me to just learn that, since I am in the music business. So I might as well get a background and be able to do all this stuff before I actually get a manager, because it just makes sense in the long terms of things just to be fluent within the music business and knowing what to do, even just the processes of registering songs and different things. So, but it was just like trying to be more fluent within music business.
That's amazing. So what are some of your tips for using BeatStars? Like, how do you get the best out of it? How do you interact with your customers or your fans? And how do you go about collaborating with other people on the platform?
Well, actually, BeatStars is a really friendly platform. I see a lot of people reach out, and even for me, I just really upload what I think would suit best for the actual BeatStars platform. I think there's a lot of different lanes you can go, but I've stuck to a more like simplistic lane, and I see a lot of people like to buy more simple beats, stuff that's like, because okay, to best describe it is like producers like to hear like very complex beats and different things, but like to the normal rapper's ear, they might not want to rap on something that doesn't have a lot of room on it. So, for instance, I would always try to have the rapper in mind when I'm placing things on BeatStars, because I have like, you know, different beats for different ventures. But for all the stuff that I put on BeatStars, I wanted it to be a little bit more simplistic and to just sound good and actually have a good quality mix and different things like that. But for the most part, I'd say that with collaborating and everything, a lot of people reach out, and I see a lot of people sending loops just from DMing me and different things. And I think just in general, like I try to keep in mind like what I can do to better market myself. And even like Danny was telling me, like even like creating a YouTube page and driving traffic over to the BeatStars page too, which a lot of people use to gain a lot of traction.
Have you found that using YouTube is helping you?
Most definitely. I've been a little bit lazy. I can't lie. I haven't really been uploading as much because I've been really focused right now on just sending out different packs and stuff. And I'm also venturing out into engineering as well. So I'm going to be full-time engineering in January and everything. So to get through that process, I've been just focusing on that. But for the most part, like getting your YouTube page to have actual traffic is a really great idea, because how it was explained to me is that, let's say, okay, what you probably want to do is almost have it like a gas station, like, because that's kind of what YouTube is. Like when you search through, okay, blase blah type beat, the first thing that pops up is what people are probably going to click on most likely. They're not going to go all the way down to search for your beat. So how it was best explained is to actually blow up with certain artists that are about to come up. So for instance, like let's say like even Little Easy, like that's a great person that people should probably be making type beats for, because he's a new priority at Atlantic. And for instance, like he's not the biggest name in the world, so the YouTube traffic there, you don't have to battle against so many producers actually trying to make type beats. But you should try to find like a niche place where you can grow with the artist and you can drive all that traffic to your BeatStars page.
That's really smart. And then when it comes to tagging on the platform, how do you go about prioritizing what kind of tags you put?
Um, Actually, I haven't even really thought about that too much. Like I really just put my own name and then what's most relevant to the beat, like what type of beat, what type of artist, vibe, or whatever fits most for the beat. You know what I mean? Like I haven't been so like in depth with that, but I've definitely just made sure to put my name at least and what is best relevant to the beat itself.
Makes perfect sense. Well, let's talk about your business background and how you went about learning the music business, and what are some key things you think that other producers or beat makers should also be aware of when they're stepping into the game?
Well, for me, it started within high school because I took some different electives to where it was like different marketing classes, different business law as well, which that actually it drove a lot of interest for me to actually get into researching myself, because you don't really necessarily need school, because the internet is a huge platform which it has free knowledge all over it. You should definitely put it to use. I felt like school wasn't really the option for me, so I went full music career, and it's been working well for me. It just depends on what works best for the person. But for instance, I really started to go online and just do different research, like maybe even YouTube videos, because I'm a visual learner. So I tried to find stuff that I could actually like watch. I didn't have to read a long page and like, different things like, but for the most part, it's been working out for me just to do my own research and just be online, watch a lot of videos, even documentaries and different things. Like as much information as you can get on the music business or even the history of music is best for you, because you'll start to see the different patterns even in today's society of how music works and how the function is. But like collaboration is a huge aspect of music for sure. Like that's the thing that's gotten me the farthest. And even Dr. Dre himself said that he's never, I don't think he actually did say that he's never worked on a record by himself. Like everything that he's put out is with somebody else, like in the production process.
I think, yeah, the history of the music business, and also another like super key gem is literally watching artists and producer interviews, or even like music folk interviews because sometimes they drop like the smallest gems that you'll be able to carry with you forever. I think one that maybe I can shout out today that you guys should probably look into is Ryan Leslie. Years ago, he did an interview just talking about how he helped this one artist basically like gain a fan base, and how he was able to help him collect phone numbers and emails and doing little guerrilla marketing things. Ryan will repeat the same things throughout multiple interviews, but every time there's like a little bit of a twist to it. So if anyone wants to go check that out after this, that's what he said in his interview. I think it was with the Breakfast Club. That has stuck with me for like ever. So I'm just gonna throw that out there for y'all.
Yeah, that'd actually be a good piece of information. Like just like I said, like anything you watch that pertains to music is in your best interest, because like the more you learn, the better, because there's so much free information out there for people to get. Like you might as well take advantage of your phone, because it's almost like a producer and consumer mindset. Like which side of the spectrum are you on? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And building, and it helps you to build relationships better and stronger ones. Cloud9 said, "Oh my God, Tia, you know about Ryan Leslie. That's one of my mentors from far away. That's how I built my email list and number list. He gave a lot of gems." So Cloud9 is always here, y'all. You know he loves to learn. So that's a cosign right there.
Absolutely.
So go check that out. So let's talk about your approach with making music. You had mentioned Instagram Live that you love to make melodic type beats.
Yeah.
What is your favorite thing about that kind of sound? And I know you mentioned room and thinking about what rapper would suit best on whichever beat that you're making. So why this type of sound?
Well, I don't know. I've always been driven towards a more melodic sound, and like even a lot of my friends can vouch for me. Like I've always been more towards like, I don't know, like it's almost like ear candy to me. Like I like very melodic tones and different like things with different melodic textures and things that actually sound really good to the ear. Like even like Roddy Ricch's new album, that's like a great like that's a perfect example of what I'm talking about when it comes to like melodic rap. Like I really love that production on the album, because like all the different beats, they're all like different, but they're more futuristic and they're very melodic. And even the way that Roddy hopped on the things is different, very different. Like it created like a new wave. Like, and that's kind of what I'm going for, is a more futuristic sound.
Right. And I'm gonna butcher this and it's gonna drive me nuts, but I know that who worked on the Roddy Ricch project? Oh my God, it's gonna drive me nuts right now. I have to Google it. There's a group, and the name should be coming to my head.
Mm-hmm.
This is not going to be helpful because I can't remember the name. But whoever mixed the record, or whoever did like the finalized touches on the record, are actually producers that have worked with a lot of R&B artists.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And it's gonna drive me nuts because it's actually mad disrespectful that I can't remember that.
No, I feel that.
But nonetheless, yes, I see what you're saying there.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as it goes with working with artists, what's something that drives you to work with an artist? What are you looking for when you're making that connection?
Well, it really, okay, like for me, like how I make beats is like I go off of different vibes, and especially when I've heard different records, like I could definitely take like pieces of the record that I heard and then place it into my own type of atmosphere. But I don't know, I have a weird production process, because I kind of go with the flow. Like when it comes to it, like I'll probably make like a melody or hop on a different melody, like a loop that I've been sent, and then from there, like I'll kind of try to ear it towards a specific sound, because for the packs that I make, like I know that there's like specific artists that I'm trying to go for and work towards. So you know, it depends on the actual artist itself. So that's who I kind of gear it towards once I actually have like the melody down or the basis of the beat. So that's how I like lay the drums. It's just off of like, okay, what does this kind of sound like, or what am I going for? Right.
Makes the most sense. Someone in the chat just said 1800 or nothing, and it's 1500 or nothing. That was escaping me. That's
1500 or nothing. Okay.
And they've worked with like literally everybody. But like, think like Chris Brown, Rihanna, Beyonce, like all across the board. So that just a little bit of information.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah.
So you've got a pretty cool cut on the NBA Youngboy project. I want to tell us about the song, what's it called, and how that whole thing happened.
Okay, well, that one's track 3, and it's called You Bad. So that's produced by me, Kalari, Hagen, and Lacoste James. But that record came to be because of Kalari's manager, Danny, which is also a BeatStars A&R. He actually gave the beat to Mike Karen, which then in turn, I believe it was placed into a pack when I think Youngboy first got out of house arrest. They went to Utah and actually made that record. And it was actually a very big snippet when it came out because people were waiting a very long time for it. And it was kind of almost like infamous around the tape. But a lot of different records on the tape were also like hyped up too. Like Sex on the Tape was hyped up. Can't Let the World In. There's a few different records there that people were really looking out for. But You Bad was one of those ones that people were like I could see the fans obviously wanted it, and a lot of different like Youngboy pages and Instagram, like fans and different people, like they were like asking me like all different types of questions like over a span of a year of time, like, oh, when's the song coming out, or what's going on with the song, blah blah blah. But finally they did drop the tape, but after a long awaited arrival.
So what does that feel like, waiting and like hoping that you're gonna get this cut?
I mean, honestly, it was more of a process. Like, look, like I can't bet my life upon this. So if anything, I gotta act like it never even happened in the first place. So
yes,
like it's just a process of re-involving yourself in that same type of energy where you're like, okay, I need to get this first placement type of thing. So like I didn't even really think about it. Like, you know, there's like a little anxiety, like, oh, is this gonna drop? But like you have to remember at the end of the day, like you're already looking for the next one. So
Gems. Again, this is, I feel like a broken record at this point, but we always talk about that. You can't be excited until it's out. Jamil Aussie was on here the other week, who's one of your roster mates, and he said that, what was the project he was almost on? I think it was a Charlie Puth project, and they were up for the iTunes download and everything was ready to go, and then the project came out and the song was not on there.
Oh yeah, that happens a lot of times where like even like people will get paid for a record and it still doesn't come out. Like, so it just, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like you don't know until you know type of thing. So you gotta like continue to work towards what you're going for. Like you can't, like honestly, like you can't just sit back and relax until like you're actually comfortable in a place where your catalog looks substantial. So for me, I'm really gearing towards like getting as many records as I can possible in the shortest amount of time. So like it's just been straight work since even like the beginning of 2019 since now. Like it's been like me to get that record. It was really me going to the studio, like even though I had work at 8:30 in the morning and I'd be there till like 6. Like I'm like not really supposed to say this, but I was almost falling asleep at red lights like to get home. Like I was really tired like a lot of those nights. Like, but it like honestly birthed that first process.
So how do you deal with you know, staying on top of your health then, if you're working that hard and grinding and like managing potential disappointment? What does taking care of yourself look like?
Well, at that point, I was definitely not taking care of myself because, like, as a producer, like, you start to realize, like, we kind of live an unhealthy life. We're up late night. You eat really bad food. Like, at that time, I wasn't vegan at all. Like, I was eating really bad. Like, we'd basically be going to the gas station down the street from the studio and just, like, literally would be up till 6, and then I'd have to get up at literally, like, 7 or something. So it's, like, sometimes I got, like, an hour, 30 minutes of sleep. But, like, I have to realize, like, you got to get sleep. You got to get actual nutritious food in your body if you're going to try to sustain something like that, because that is kind of dangerous for yourself to just push yourself to those limits. So you got to make sure that you actually get a proper amount of sleep. You get actual nutritious food, because like gas station snacks were not really doing it like at the time, like to be honest with you. But like now I'm kind of, now that I have a little bit of more freedom, because I don't work anymore. So I just work for myself now. So luckily, like I can actually set myself a schedule and actually take care of myself a little bit more, especially when it comes to food. And now I found myself cooking a lot now too. So there's a lot that you got to do for yourself in order to proceed in life.
And honestly, like taking care of yourself sometimes could be a full-time job. So you just got to find the way to split that. But I'm really happy to hear that you're trying to like nourish yourself in that way. Cloud9 says lots of salads, healthy sandwiches, fatty rich fruits, and water. Very true.
Yeah, like no, that's why they call it breakfast, because you break your fast. But if you're gonna break your fast, you want to use it with fresh fruits all the time.
I need to get on that. I'm not really.
Oh, it's okay. Not everybody is, but it's like awareness though. You gotta read the back of the like if you look at like some of the stuff that's in the food that they sell nowadays, it's like kind of crazy. Like monosulfate glutamate. Like I'm like why is this even in here? Like, you know what I mean? Like, but I eat a more simple diet now. Like I try to stay away from soy. I try to stay away from all meat and dairy products. I not even try. I do, since I am vegan now. So for the most part, I've just been trying not to, like, you know, it's instead of eating for like taste, like, because you can still make stuff tasteful, but you know, like even like steaks and different things like that, that was more of like a taste rather than nutrition. So like now it's more geared towards taking care of myself and bettering myself, because personal development will take you farther than even just working on your music. Like working on yourself is even more important than working on your music sometimes. So
Well, if there's no self, there's no music. So
absolutely. And that's why you got to take care of your body too, because like you got to sustain the thing that's letting you do this. So
exactly. Thank you for saying that. We are all about health and wellness on the deal.
absolutely.
How have you been able to find inspiration through COVID?
Well, actually, like that's been like for most people that I've met, it's almost been like a blessing, because it's given them more time to actually focus on their craft. Sometimes, like I know a lot of people got unemployment and different things, and even in that time, like I didn't have to work. But once I got back to work, I worked really hard to get myself out of that, because I already know, like with this whole pandemic and everything, like you got to be aware that okay, I'm working for someone that can replace me in 2 seconds. So now I gotta stay on top of the fact that this is my source of income and this is how I'm gonna feed myself and my future family or whatever. So it's just thinking about the future and thinking steps ahead in life. So it's like, okay, like imagine something like this happens again. Like I'm glad that it happened. So I like it like literally opened the key in my mind to be like, okay, like you gotta set yourself up the right way as an entrepreneur. Like you need to be able to sustain yourself in the correct manner, because like I said, like a job, I was working at a restaurant, that place could replace me in like a phone call. So
Right. So what were some of the things that you had to set up for yourself to be able to be an entrepreneur?
so I did have to get my LLC. That is a big determining factor in like music in general, especially even for like tax write-offs. Like this whole entire trip like can be written off on taxes and everything. So for instance, like even this Airbnb, let's say I took an Uber somewhere, even like eating at a restaurant can be written off as a business expense. So getting your LLC is very important, and funding your business bank account as well. So you also want to get to the point where you can establish business, like a credit line for your business. So there's a lot going into that. But like I said, I'm still doing my research for myself. But in the near future, I'll be looking towards trying to get possibly like a business loan, because that's better than getting like a loan from an actual record label. Because if anything, like like how it's been explained to me for the most part is that like you rather trust your bank with that type of money, because like an advance is like you got to pay it back anyway. So it's almost like for the money you're going to get from the bank, you're going to have to use that to flip it into something else. Like for instance, I'd probably invest into equipment. And like for instance, now that I'm engineering and everything, like I just bought a new MacBook Pro, like that can be written off as a business expense as well, and different things like that. Like, but there's a whole bunch of ins and outs to the business that you could do.
The major key though, like have a paper trail and make sure your paperwork is together. Like you got to be responsible for yourself, especially as an entrepreneur. I know some people can like, oh, I'm just gonna upload this beat today and hope for the best and hope I get a sale and like peace.
Yeah,
But
strategy is important, very important.
yeah. thank you for sharing that little tidbit. I hope y'all are listening.
Absolutely.
So just before we jump into playing your music, I want to ask you, you make mention of Kalari a lot. Can you share a little bit about your relationship with Kalari and how you guys collaborate?
We actually live in the same city. We started going to a studio called OnBeat, which it's kind of almost infamous because another producer out of there, 1040, which he works out of there a lot. He actually made the multi-platinum record for NBA YoungBoy called Solar Eclipse. But we all started linking up and meeting each other at that studio. And before Kalaris started getting his placements and before I started getting mine, like we just always were in the same environment. And then we realized once we started making beats together, like I think it was like a week later, he was like, honestly, you're my favorite person to collab with. And like we were both on the same type of vibe. So ever since like we kind of grew as just a whole, like it's been even deeper than making music. Like Clara is almost like a best friend to me at this point. It's really deeper than music when it comes down to it. But like he's honestly helped me to just establish my career because he's already doing what I want to do. So he's just been guiding me in that process and getting me towards the light when it comes to that sense. But he's been a detrimental factor to this whole thing because even being signed to BeatStars wouldn't have happened without Kalara because his manager is the A&R for BeatStars. So for that, like he was an important connection for me to get on there. So,
but it's interesting. Like you have a friend and a mentor in a collaborator,
absolutely,
which is a pretty like. That's a lot of synergy and a lot of chemistry that you have to be able to share space that way. So I'm really glad that you have that. And there's not a lot of people out there like that. So when you can find those things, it's important. How do you go about networking otherwise?
Like a lot of times what's funny is that I don't even like reach out to people. Like I wait for people to come to me, which is kind of a funny way to do things. But if anything, like loops are probably my best way to network because you don't really need to hit people up like that. You just ask for an email. You have a good product to give them, which is a great melodic loop. And if they use it, they hop on it. That's a way of getting a placement as well. Like it doesn't always need to be like a best friend thing with everybody because this is a business at the end of the day. So like just sending a simple email with loops in it is like a great way to even get placements in the network. So but for me, like for the most part, like I'm already like doing these physical in-person connections. So like, for instance, getting these Airbnbs and then being in these different environments with very talented producers where I also learn from and also establish different connections because they know people. And then we go to different studios, meet people. So it's just been like it's almost like an ecosystem, I could say.
I hear that and I love that. So let's get into some of your music. The time has come. So we do a thing on the show where I ask people, well, this has been a couple weeks, so if y'all are here often, you already know the vibes. But we ask people to rate the tracks out of 5 Tim boots.
Okay.
So, on Illmind stream, he has a Tim boot. So some of y'all have that emote. If you want to drop it, please do so we could show the rest of the crew that are here today. If not, you could use whichever boot you so choose that comes up in the emoji. I want some activity in the chat, y'all. So out of 5 Tim boots, we're gonna rate the music. Is there a song you want to start with first?
Well, my top selling beat is Less Problems. So if you want to start with that one, you could probably go with that.
All right. Is there any story behind this?
Actually, funny enough, like it was just one of those beats that like I literally I think I heard Moneybag Yo said something, and then I have a plugin called Philharmonic, so I just went in there and used the violin, and then from there I just created my own vibe. Like I said earlier, that's how it is. Like I'll hear a song and then I'll start to create beats off of what I already heard. So like, I'll be inspired from different records. But for that, like it was just a very simple beat that came out like extremely well, and like just even I did not expect it to do what it did. Like it was just something I just did, and then it just blew up out of nowhere. So
sick. I love the tags already. You're in Atlanta, so this is very fitting. And as you can see, Track Phantom, thank you so much for dropping the Tim boot. We're gonna get this started. Okay, this is Less Problems by Wonderboy Beats. I'm geeked because it's just us today, so I could run the tracks a little bit longer than I normally do. I usually give everyone about a minute, but we got some action in the chat here. Yo, that's fire. Infectious strings makes it stand out. We got 5 Tim Boots from R2K Beats.
No, I appreciate
so
that.
I'm gonna drop his link. Everybody, you can check out his beat store. Let me just pin this for y'all.
Absolutely.
All right. Next one. Which one you want to do?
You could do Light Bulb, which
Light Bulb.
I really like that one just because of the production on it. And I actually, funny enough, A&R hit me up off of just hearing this beat off of BeatStars from Atlantic. And I was just very surprised because I was like, okay, that's never happened before where A&R from a whole record label set me up out of just the production that I put on BeatStars. But he directly told me he found the record off of BeatStars. So I was like, okay, that's pretty interesting. But that's what I'd like to display for anybody listening, because I guess that's what people are looking for, is that type of sound.
BeatStars is the cheat code. If you're not sifting through BeatStars in Big 2020, then I don't really know what their role is in life.
Yeah, seriously.
Fat Wave Beat said Resident Evil type strings, no cappuccino. Okay, I love it. I've never heard. I've heard Caparoo, like no cappuccino.
Well, that's a new one. I can't. No, that's funny.
I love that one. All right, let's play this one.
Hey yo, Laurie, this shit.
Drop says, Wonderboy, I wish you could see me dance to this one.
I appreciate that.
We're about to add you to the stream, so I want to see too. All right, yeah. That's fire. Like, I like that. So at least with the last two, I'm over here doing this. Like,
yeah.
Makes me want to move. We got 5 Tim Boots from Trax Phantom. Thank you so much for your activity today, y'all. I appreciate it. Okay, next up.
All right, we could do Pat. So I like that one a lot, and that's my second top selling beats. So that's right under Less Problems.
I love that you like, honestly, because you said, guys, I just want to like be very clear. Wonderboy said he joined. You said you joined in April, right?
Yeah.
These streams are pretty crazy, and to know that and to be able to pick out what your top selling beats are already is also pretty crazy. So
no, yeah, I've made a substantial amount of money off of BeatStars already. So I can imagine as my platform grows and how everything just adds up in the near future. Like I think this will be a definite way of having a source of income and just like even residual income. Like I remember when I was working my job that I literally wake up with more money than I made making like working an 8-hour shift, but just in one beat sale. So it was pretty crazy.
yeah, it puts things into perspective for you for sure. And I mean, not to knock anybody's, day job or hustle, but if you don't have to, then why would you? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
JM04, I think this person has asked a couple of times, how did you market yourself? So just as far as maybe you could just quickly repeat a tip or two for getting yourself out there on BeatStars before we play the next track.
I'd say definitely send out loops. That's a big thing too. Just get as good as possible. Because you can market yourself in a bunch of different ways, but using a YouTube page is definitely a great way to drive traffic towards your page.
Because you're linking your beat store in the description, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So like even you put the actual like in the video, you could put the link in the video or whatever. Like just however you drive the traffic, you can get it there. Like as long as it's physically present.
And just like to add to that, I would say, make sure you're submitting to opportunities. Someone like myself, I playlist every single day and I'm pulling from the opportunities pages every single day. So there's a really good chance to throw you in there and get some playlist opportunities, which 9 times out of 10 will translate to some, well, I don't want to say 9 times out of 10, I don't know that for sure, but it can translate to sales. Make sure you're tagging correctly. Make sure you're tagging according to the artist. Don't get lost in just tagging big artists, because a lot of people will do that. That's something that Wonderboy had mentioned earlier, is like try and find an up and coming artist that's going to start showing up on the platform and showing up in the music industry. I see you've tagged location here. That's a great way to do things as well. Sometimes I also suggest, if you're going to tag an artist, also tag a mood. You don't know if you're looking for like a dark beat or a chill beat or melodic type beat, so don't get too caught up in artist tags. Location is great. What else is another way? Make sure that your pro page, if you've not signed up for a pro page, make sure your pro page looks good. Be flexible, get your mailing lists when people are buying or downloading things. Those are just some tips.
Absolutely. And I know on the platform too that you can actually put in moods when you upload. So you could actually put it for the exact mood. There's even like subgenres, genres, moods,
PM,
secondary moods. So yeah.
Yeah. And Cloud9 just said, I can honestly say that BeatStars playlist equals sales. I've witnessed this.
Oh yeah, no, most definitely.
So for sure. All right. So we'll play Pat now. Let's go. that was the kind of beat that makes you want to, you know, when you're like with your homies and you're in a whip and everyone's just like mobbing out and it's ridiculous. You're like, I don't have any business yelling these lyrics, but I'm gonna do it anyways.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the kind of vibe.
Absolutely.
Everyone agrees that this is a great future vibe. Cloud9 says your melodies are catchy.
Appreciate that.
Main sample, that's ridiculous. Everyone's putting slime emojis in the chat. Everyone's going up today. Honestly, like, when I see the chat moving, I know it's a sign of a good interview and a good producer. So we're doing
That's good.
All right, 3 more. Which one are we gonna go with?
All right, well, we could do Wavy next. That's like a triplet beat, which I like that one a lot. It's just a niche beat that I always like.
All right, cool. I was gonna let that one run all the way through. You know that seriously, it's giving me like Key Glock or like a Fujiano.
Oh, really? No, yeah, most definitely.
You gotta update tags, but I'm gonna put that in both of those playlists. So next, which one?
All right, I'd say we could do Lake. That one's really simple, but that's gained a lot of traction in a very quick amount of times. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know why, but the more simple the beats are, like, people just like that a lot. Like, because it has a lot of room for the artist.
All right, so you uploaded this in September. 300 likes, 19 reposts, 23 comments, 10K listens. So that's kind of crazy. Let's hear it. I'm not even gonna repeat this, but this comment I just put up from Cloud9, I'm not gonna do it because I'll embarrass myself. I hear it screaming in my head. This man made a Gucci Mane type beat. This is cool. This little emote. Is that an octopus? I don't know.
No, that's crazy. I don't even know what that is.
I have no idea what that is, but you know what? I feel you. All right, your last one.
All right, that's Tuber. So yeah, that one's pretty interesting. That one gained a lot of traction pretty quickly too, but it's also because it's a Drake type beat, so that's why as well.
All right, so let's hear it. Last track by Wonderboy Beats. Okay, we got another 5 Tim boots.
Now, yeah, I've seen the Tim boots. I know it's official.
You know the vibes. All right, well, that was incredible. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for going up in the chat the way you did. Before we sign off here, I would love it if, one, you could start with sharing one other up-and-coming producer that you think everybody else should be aware of, and then 2, tell everybody where they can find you, although I've also pinned it to the chat. So.
All right, I got you. So definitely another upcoming producer you should look out for is Lucrative, which that is the guy that got 3 new placements on the Future and Uzi. So, and he just got signed to Sony along with that. So definitely check him out. And you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and I'm going to have my own website up soon. So you'll be able to find me there too.
Fire. Thank you so much for joining us today, especially last minute. You dropped a lot of gems today, so I'm super appreciative of like your activity and your attentiveness. And shout out to everybody in the chat who's been super active today as well. We're blessed to have you on our team. So
no, thank you. I appreciate you guys letting me be here. You know, this is a great opportunity for me as well, and I thought it'd be nice to lay down some gems for everybody. So
yeah, you did the damn thing. So
all right, thank you, Tia. I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you. All right, guys, you know the deal. On the deal. See you guys next Tuesday, same time, same place. And make sure you're following Wonderboy Beats on everything and connect. I know somebody in the chat was like, yo, what's up with collabs? You definitely need to run this interview back as soon as it's done. He has mentioned that he's open to collaborating. So hit him up, send some loops, as he said.
Absolutely.
All right, we're off this. Goodbye.
All right, thank you. Bye.